included in the furlough. The rest of the military is in a different pot of money, thankfully, that they're out there protecting us. But this group, the local group, you probably have heard of them, called Feeding San Diego. It's a nationwide group, but they have a very strong presence here in San Diego. They stepped up and said, look, this is wrong. We need, to the very least, to make sure that these people have food on their table and they don't have to worry about going to bed hungry every night. So here's how it all went down earlier today. It's a special delivery that no one really wants to deliver. A special delivery for members of our military who live paycheck to paycheck, and those paychecks have stopped.
It's an honor for us to be here to support these Coast Guard families, and it is a shame that we have to be here to support these Coast Guard families.
Even though they protect our country from coast to coast, even the Coast Guard is not immune to the government shutdown.
My husband is currently deployed, and so I'm dealing with all of this stuff on my own, and many of the other spouses, their husbands are deployed too.
Over the years, we have seen these political games before, but this is the longest government shutdown in history, and never in history has it affected the U.S. military like it is today.
This is, to our knowledge, the first time in the history of our country that those serving in the uniform have been doing so without being paid.
Be the smallest branch of the military, but they play a critical role in national security. Among other things, the Coast Guard fights crime and criminals on the high seas, like this. $300 million in cocaine that will not make it to the streets thanks to the Coast Guard.
When you are on duty, when you are deployed overseas, when you are on a Coast Guard cutter in the dark and night, and you are worried that your spouse and your children may not have enough to eat that day, it's impossible to not feel distracted from the mission at hand.
So with no end in sight to the political bickering, even members of the military are now reluctantly accepting donations for the most basic of things.
The food has been so important. It's the day-to-day things that we really have to get to make it through. And food is a really expensive thing to get every day. So, and you have to have it. It's not like one of those things you're like, oh, let me just hold off on getting this until I get paid again. It's every single day, and these are families.
All right, so back here live, I don't know if you can see that, a Coast Guard helicopter just landed after coming back from some kind of a mission. Might have been a training mission, might have been the real deal, and we don't even know if the pilots are getting paid right now. We know that they're reporting for duty, but we don't know whether they're getting paid. By the way, by the numbers, there are 1,000 members of the Coast Guard here in San Diego, and 500 of them apparently have applied for some kind of an assistance. So Feeding San Diego has really stepped up to the plate. Today, those trucks that you saw delivered 6.5 tons of food for 500 families. And I asked the head of the food bank, how long is that going to last? And he said it's going to go amazingly fast. So we're all stepping up to try to help certainly everybody who needs it. But in this case, the only branch of the military that is not getting paid during this furlough, and boy, need the help. So if you want to help, you can actually go to Feeding San Diego, to their website, donate some money, donate some food. Obviously, we don't know when this whole thing is going to come to an end. So that's it, you guys. We'll leave you with the Coast Guard. I'll step out of the way. It's kind of a head shaker out here once again.
It sure is. They need to get this thing resolved, and soon.